This after coaching program, I've always been, ever since this juncture, my first year in college, where I felt trapped, stuck, felt like everyone else knew what they were doing except for me, and then over the next 4 years of realizing, holy crap, there's like 50 million careers out there. There's hundreds and hundreds of ways to make money. Why didn't anyone tell me about that? Why did I have to find out all this myself? And so I wish someone would have told me when I was in high school. I wish someone would have told me in middle school. But when I was in middle school, all I cared about was gaming. So if I'm going to talk to kids who don't have that level of consciousness, they're not going to process it. So that means I need to talk to students that are a little bit more self-aware, probably after puberty, because they start thinking for themselves. So that means that leads to 12 to 16-year-olds. And the reason why I did it now was because I finally found co-founders on the exact same page, and then 2 co-founders, there's 3 of us, and even that is not enough. 3 co-founders who are passionate about the same thing and willing to go all in on this. The biggest gap was finding parents who are willing to pay for this thing that does not guarantee them an Ivy League college, university. And the reason why we had that was because one of my co-founders had a relationship with this mom that really, really liked us, and so she's selling us to all her family friends. And she brought in all the clients that we have. So this was not some magic idea, but in principle, this is solving a problem I wish I had an answer to. This is, I stumbled across it, and dropping out was, I was just waiting for something that fit within the framework of what I wanted, which is, I don't want to do something I don't care about. I found something I care about, I'm going to do it. We can dig more into business ideas later. All right, anything else from here? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Hating English and writing. Oh man, I think I remember in 8th grade, my teacher assigned me journals, and I'm like, journals are so retarded, I don't know why I'm doing this. So I would just write my stream of consciousness like, this is retarded, this is stupid, I wish I could go to sleep. And then, so yeah, I got B's, C's, and 1 D in English from junior high to high school. I hated English. I never read a single book in any of those classes. I spark noted everything. Yeah, and then so I started writing. So when I started doing the nonprofit work, people started inviting us to speak and teach at homeless shelters or at soup kitchens or at a lot of churches. And so digging into that, this is actually sort of related to speaking. So when I was in high school, I was super shy, insecure. Holding eye contact with someone was something I could not do. Talking to anyone that I didn't already know, talking to girls that I didn't already know was like psychological nightmare. And just super, because when you're in high school, it's always like, oh, gotta look cool, like, because girls are looking or something, right? So I was always probably head down, sort of kept to myself, never would have ventured out to do anything crazy because I'm an introvert, I'm insecure, or I don't have anything good to say, I don't know what to say. Right, so that's sort of where I started, and it wasn't until, and it was really bad. It wasn't until like an older sister figure of mine one day told me that to not express yourself and share your opinion is to deny the world an expression of yourself. Just a couple sentences like that threw my mind for a loop, and that blew my mind. This was like in 7th grade, and that gave me enough confidence to even just tell my friends that I was already close to just an opinion that I had. That was how psychologically low that I was in terms of my self-worth and my opinion of myself. Felt I literally had nothing to offer. So that was 7th grade. It took me a year to just get used to sharing my opinion with friends. So I was really far back. And then it probably took another year to just share loose opinions that I had to friends that like I didn't know as much. It took another year to learn that. And then it took maybe a year after that for me to just realize that, oh, some people actually like my opinion. I started investing in, when I was in 10th grade, sophomore year, I started befriending kids who are freshmen and sharing them some friendly advice about just being 1 year older than them. And I realized that these guys actually valued what I had to say and like blew my mind. Because just for context, like that's how far I went. And then when I realized that I could have an impact on them, I spent another year doing that, maybe started investing in maybe like 5 or 6 other guys, and I realized that I was actually having a positive impact in my life. Like, holy crap, these guys, my advice, like they're actually taking to heart, what the heck. So it started out as a very casual, oh, I'm just sharing things and they just seem to be helpful. And it went from like just a small handful of like 3 to 4 guys to like, oh, 5, 6 guys, oh, whatever. And by the time I was working nonprofit, this scaled up to maybe groups of 10. I'm like, oh yeah, 10 people are listening to me, that's cool. Like, nice. And then it would be like 15. I'm like, oh yeah, that's 15. And then there's 20. I'm like, oh, it's 20 people now. Oh, okay, cool. And then it would turn into 30, 40, 50, and just very, very gradually, I was speaking in front of crowds of 100 to 200 people. And so people would tell me that, oh, you're such a great speaker. And then I would sort of deflect it because like, I would not peg myself to be a speaker. I just realized that I like helping people, and it just so happened I started in conversations of 3 to 5, and then the lines got blurred, and I didn't even notice when it got to 100 and 200. And so the way I even do speaking engagements, and even in this interaction, to me this is not speaking. I'm having a conversation with you guys. That's why I'm not like trying to live up to this thing of, oh, I need to be a really good speaker, because I don't think I am. Right? I just like having conversations and helping people. Right? And so given that, once I started speaking regularly, I just got frustrated at how inefficient it was, which was I had to repeat myself every single time. So I'm like, okay, the only way to make this more efficient is I'm going to start writing, because I want to just tell people, hey, if you want to read more about this, I wrote about it, read it. And so that's where my writing started. I just started writing out of efficiency purposes from a communication standpoint. I started writing, and then people told me like, wow, you're such a great writer. And I'm like, I hate writing. It's like, what are you talking about? But it just so happened, I just kept writing, and to me, what I was doing was I was taking conversations that I had and then putting it on paper. That's all I was doing. And when I had dialogues with a lot of people about the same kind of subject, I realized there were common threads about what people would ask me, so I would preempt all those ideas and questions into my writing, and that's why people thought I had really good writing. Because I literally iterated on my content tons and tons of times, and then I became a writer. Or people told me I was a good writer. I'm like, okay, sure, I guess I agree with you. And so now I write a lot, because apparently my content is super helpful to some people. And so, yes, you can find my writing on Quora if you want to look it up. Anyone else? We only have 10 minutes, so that went fast. All right.
Can you explain what you mean by clarity?
Clarity. So my high school journey, or my college journey of feeling like, okay, there's only 10 careers I can pick. I'm not equipped to make one decision that I can dedicate my entire life to. So having a clear idea in terms of a value system through which I think in order to make decisions about my life and the direction that I want to go. Yeah. Any questions? This is free for all now.
This kind of like back to like the first one, but when do you think is the best time to start a business? Like, do you think it's better to do all this reading and the research and then be all ready and then go into it, and you just jump into it and learn, or?
From all my study and reading, do the bare minimum to find out whether people will actually pay you money for whatever you're doing. So if you are starting your tutoring platform, talk to X, Y, Z number of students and ask, or students who want to be tutors, and ask them, would they engage in this kind of platform, and how much would you pay for it? Like, just get conversations around the minimum viable product. Get your MVP out and test that. The moment you know that someone out there will pay for it, then that's when you sort of blow it up. Try to get 5 people to pay for it. Try to get 10 people to pay for it. I don't think there is a real right time. Besides the fact that you need to know that your thing can deliver. I think a lot of people would spend like hours and hours, 6 months on creating a mock-up on their app or prototype, but not even know whether to actually talk to customers and realize, oh, do people even want this thing? Right? And so talk to your market, understand the market. And so for me, this was easy because I was the market. This is who I used to be. I knew this was an answer that I needed, and so I created it. So in general, from a business idea standpoint, if you have a need, a concrete need, you can build that need. So what happens, so there's a lot of businesses out there that you hear about on the news that are very flashy, like all our unicorns out there, but a lot of boring companies are all B2B, and the way most people figure out ideas for B2B companies is they work at a corporation, and in working for a corporation, they find some stupid menial inefficiency in their corporation, and then that becomes their business idea. It becomes a problem that they have to encounter in their day-to-day and realize, frick, I can build something around this. Why hasn't anyone done this? And then that's how they build a new thing out of it, right? Zenefits, billion-dollar company, like just tackling a huge market inefficiency. Enterprise software, same thing. Like, I wish there was software that could address this component in working for my company. This is so inefficient. This tool sucks. This app sucks. This software sucks. I'm going to build it, right? So that's a lot. That's for a lot of people. That's how I come up with a lot of business ideas. Is you get exposed to problems. Yeah.
Well, were all your ventures bootstrapped, or did you have some experience with VCs and stuff?
Zero VCs. Flipping houses. In order for me to come up with the money for the program, I borrowed from friends and family. Probably one of the riskiest things I've ever done. Probably would never do it again. Because I had no idea what I was getting into. They should not have lent to me because that was nuts. We literally launched and we have 10 paying clients and we didn't have any cost because we're just hanging out with kids. In function, we're actually literally just hanging out with teenagers. Anyone else? Yeah.
Is there any way that you're trying to expand the after-school program?
Yes, so if we start, we're running a 3-month cohort. That's going to be the first program. It's going to run for 3 months. We're going to iterate on it for 2 or 3 times to sort of perfect the curriculum, to see what works best with these students. And then once we basically have a rhythm going, then we can think about scaling. Scaling, whether it's getting more mentors on board so we can get more students, or throwing the entire curriculum online and just selling it online. Because we know it works, because we've done it with so many students. Because at the end of the day, this stuff, everyone needs it, or a lot of people need it. Realizing that there's XYZ careers out there and how many creative ways you can go about building a career out of it, or building a business out of it. For example, one of my mentees in this program, she is passionate about writing and horseback riding. I have a friend that built up his audience by writing on Quora. Through Quora, he got published on Inc., Time, Forbes, Mashable, BBC, et cetera, and now he's a Forbes columnist. So now he writes for a living. That's one way to make a lot of money as a writer. Recently, I also met a lady who's a equestrian therapist, because there's such a thing as animal therapy, and this lady uses horses for therapy. I didn't know that was a career. I just met this lady 2 weeks ago. Right, so it's exposing teenagers to things like that, where it's like, what? That's a thing? But people make money off of it, right?
So have you ever thought of expanding your market to adults? Because there are many people who, like, they don't like what they're doing, or they don't know why they're doing it.
Oh yeah, sky's the limit at this point, right? But we need to this is tackling the same question. It's like, what is the bare minimum that we're doing, and what can we do to iterate so that we know our thing works really well, so by the time we open up to a mass market, we've worked out the vast majority of the inconsistencies or kinks. Right. Any other questions?
I can collect the index cards if anyone is ready.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys have, I was sort of throwing questions out. Yeah, does anyone have, oh yeah, I guess we can collect the cards.
Does anyone have anything in the card? Cool. Awesome, thank you so much. Any other last minute questions? Awesome, thank you so much.